Now, we do know that tourism contributes something like 7.5 billion Namibian dollars to the economy, so it's quite a strategic sector for that economy. When you speak to authorities, have they taken stock to how they can improve the sector, make it even a bigger generator of forex and national output?
In our last tourism satellite account, is up to giving close to 14.6 billion in contribution to the Namibian GDP. So tourism suffered a blow, as everybody did, in the global economic turndown. But we grew 5.3% in arrivals anyway, in spite of the turndown. Government has woken up to the fact that tourism has the highest potential for job creation in Namibia, and we have the highest potential for having a product that's not just in the capital city or in a particular factory. In fact, the country is the product. So they've woken up to that and given a substantial amount of state injection of funds to public works that can help create a better climate for tourism investment.
And what about the tourism value chain? I mean, already with the growth that you're talking about, we're also seeing employment growth, the figure somewhere at 18%. So in terms of tourism helping to address some of the social problems in Namibia?
Yeah, tourism absolutely can reach down and talk to poverty alleviation at some of the basic levels. Tourism is easy to enter. It's not rocket science. You don't need a PhD to get the training necessary to just say welcome to your guests and be on the front desk at a lodge or be a tour guide. So these opportunities are opened up to some of our youth who maybe not going to university, maybe don't pass through the system, but it's also opening up into very rural communities through our community-based natural resource management program, where we have communal conservancies who actually control the means of producing on their land. And this is good, because now you've got money flowing in areas where there really isn't a capacity to have any other income generation. So this is what the government is trying to do, but more on a human level. It's what needs to be done, that all people get to benefit as best they can from tourism.
Very briefly, I'd like you to tell us more about those conservancies, those communal conservancies. Apparently there are about 50 in Namibia. How do they work, and what lessons could we learn in other parts of Africa?
The Communal Conservancy program, about 55 of them gazetted right now in Namibia. And this is great because it allows local people to have a plot of land, which is their traditional areas, and they by right are a legal person and has control over the resources of that land. So government has devolved that control to them. Our conservancies are generating about 50 million in revenue in the last year, and about 100,000 of our tourists visit products and sites on communal conservancies. Namibia is also putting livestock and some wildlife onto those conservancies. We are bringing in wildlife to be on the conservancies to add value to the land for tourism. Government's helping them with training and so forth to get lodges and things built, etc. It's a very good model. We invite all who want to think about it to please come on to Namibia, and we'll give you a full brief on how that works.
Let's talk about Namibia and what it has to offer as a tourism destination. We tend to think of Namibia as beach and desert, so there's a huge emphasis on eco-tourism. If this is what the tourism industry is predicated on, how much investment is being generated to make this kind of tourism a little more sexy?
Well, tourism investment to Namibia is a challenge to get the big bucks, foreign direct investment that some of the larger economies like in South Africa or in other places can attract. We are a niche tourism destination. We are definitely not a mass market destination. So what we want is the discerning traveler who wants to see a sunset and an elephant, and that sunset and that elephant belongs just to them. They're not sharing it with 7 or 8 other cars of people hanging out with cameras trying to take pictures of that elephant. So the kind of investment we're trying to attract is, yes, we have the Hilton Hotel, yes, just opened in Windhoek, in our capital city. We're trying to get more of those frontline, branded, international, larger hotels for the larger cities in Namibia. But for our product, our icons, we want those intimate, upscale lodges. We want something neat, clean, like a backpack.
Oh my goodness, I hope technology hasn't failed us there. Jackie, just talk to us also just about making tourism easy. Some tourists to Namibia have often complained that, you know, to transact is so difficult. It's a cash-based society. You can't really use credit cards. When you use them, it's not very safe. So just dealing with things like cyber fraud, how do you reassure tourists that everything's okay when they enter Namibia?
Absolutely. I mean, what you have just said is tourism in Namibia a la 1980s. Absolutely. You can use your plastic, honey. I know I do. You can, we have internet connections. We have our NTC, the cell phone connections. There's sat phones in some of our very, very remote areas. Yes, you can pay cash, sure enough. But most people make their bookings online, and you can go on to people's websites. The normal way as ICT has opened up the world. Plastic is king. So absolutely, we have faced those challenges. Credit card fraud and all that, those guys are clever. Let me tell you, the most tourism-aware people are the criminals. Yeah. They know exactly who's a tourist and what to do. So that's always a challenge everywhere, but we meet it here in Namibia. We're alert to that, and we follow all the international safety and security and police protocols on credit card safety to block credit card fraud.
All right, the emphasis has been on the European tourists, particularly those coming in from the UK and Germany, and then we know a lot of South Africans come to Namibia. What are you doing to spread the profile of tourism visitors to Namibia?
Our #1 overseas tourists are the German-speaking Europe. That is Germans, Austria, and Switzerland. Obviously, with the historical connection to Namibia, German being one of our national languages here, and there's a big, strong connection. And those folks come rain or shine. It can be the biggest economic crisis in the world. I can tell you, our German clientele, they come all the time, steady, about 35 to 40% of our overseas arrivals. The Angolans and South Africans are the #1 numerical arrivals to Namibia, making up almost 2/3 of the folk who come here. In 2010, we had 1.2 million visitors who checked off as tourists. But about 2/3 of that will be our SADC tourists. And this is good because they shop, they spend, they visit friends and relatives, and that's also good, good to have that happen. We send the good message out through tourism trade fairs, through brochuring, and now through the interactive websites of our Namibia Tourism Board, a wonderful program sponsored by the MCA Namibia funding. But our NTB website is fantastic. I invite people to please visit that.
Okay.
You're going to see everything about Namibia, hands-on and interactive.
Jackie, congratulations. Thanks for your time. And you've just sold Namibia to me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.